All right, welcome to sportsfaningy.blogspot.com. Today we have Iowa football's equipment manager, Greg Morris. Greg, equipment manager, I mean, you're also known as the shoe guy, so you deal with everything that the players get, coaches get, staff gets. Talk about a little bit more about what your job entails.
The most important thing about my job, Matt, is to keep everybody happy. That is the most paramount thing in my mind. You know, when the video guys come down and need rain gear because it's raining like heck outside, you have to have that rain gear ready. In all seriousness, it is. I mean, it's everything from the head coach's bubble gum to the rain gear for the video guys, and I think everything in between. Obviously, with our Nike contract, there are some issues there. We need to make sure, especially when we're at practice, when we get outside of Iowa City, prepare for bowl stuff, that we have the right stuff on people, because you never know when someone's going to show up in an interview like this. I've got my Nike stuff on, you have yours on. Or you know, in the USA Today, I mean, several years ago, Nike sent a memo out to everybody. USC's Pete Carroll had a Russell sweatshirt on, and that's a no-no, obviously. So, yeah, the most common theme, I think, in the equipment manager's world, and especially in mine here at Iowa, is detail. You have to always be aware and be conscious of the small, minor details.
Now, there's well over 120 players on the team, so not all of them are the same, whether it's size, personality. What are some of the challenges you run into dealing with so many different types of people?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge, whether it's Kirk, a member of his staff, support staff like you and I, or our players, is understand each person's personality, and kind of, once you get to know people or understand, for example, quarterbacks versus defensive linemen, anticipate what they may want or need. And I think over the course of time, obviously each August you got a new group of kids coming in, but get to know them right away. Understand what you think they may need, and think ahead for them a little bit. And I think if you do that, your job becomes easier.
Now, you also talked about how you take this show on the road. I mean, talk a little bit about what is expected when you go on the road. What do you need to take? What do you have to expect for?
Yeah, I think the most important thing when you go on the road, and I explain it easily like this, and people do understand, think about getting your family ready to go on vacation, or just yourself trying to get ready to go out of town, and the details that it takes. So when we leave Iowa City, the most important thing to remember is that we can't rely on anything or anybody. We better take it with us. And it doesn't matter if it's a fan for a locker room, a fan on the sidelines, it's somebody blew their shoes out and I don't have them. Make sure we have that. And weather. People laugh at me sometimes. For example, when we get ready to go to Ames, you remember this, several years ago we went to Ames and it started out at 85 degrees, and after halftime the front had gone through and it was down to 50 degrees and the wind was blowing hard, so we actually broke out winter coats. So you got to remember where you're going. Think about weather all the time. Think about the size of locker rooms and where we may have to move in and out of. Sometimes hotels, only because of stuff you may need to bring our trainers, extra things that we may have to bring in there. Just kind of get a lay of the land, pull the list out, ideas from years gone by, and kind of go from there.
Now, you've been on the recruiting side, both as a parent and as a staff member. What was the one thing you were surprised at being a parent?
The thing that surprises me yet today is the amount of interest that people have in James. It shocks me to this day, the letters, the amount of mail that he continues to get from all over the country. I think it humbles you a little bit. It makes you realize how many people are watching all the time, how many people are, I wouldn't say care, although I think, you know, the closer you get to your home, the more people care, but how many people are always watching, and in some cases maybe watching your every move.
All right, well, before you leave, we're going to finish off with a lightning round of questions.
Wow.
First answer that comes to your mind. Athlete you
first, Pepsi.
Athlete you idolized growing up.
Dick Butkus.
If you weren't in football, what would you be doing?
I'd be in sales.
A time in history you wish you could have witnessed.
The Great Depression.
One idea to improve college athletics.
More common sense.
A current athlete you admire and why.
Robert Gallery does things his way.
DH or let the pitcher hit?
Let the pitcher hit.
Finally, best thing about Iowa?
The people.
And there you have it. That's it this week for sportsfaningy.blogspot.com. Thanks.